Welcome to the Free Game Don D podcast, life, family, and business. Listen, man, today's topic is couples retreat. Couples retreat, because we just got back from a couples retreat with a bunch of great, phenomenal people that we didn't even know. So I'm talking about how great they are after the fact, because we didn't really know what to expect, but it ended up being a phenomenal experience, man. We were down in Florida for about 3 nights in a $6 million mansion. Really cool. Man, so it was a great experience, man, with a lot of folks that we didn't know, but after the fact, like, man, these people are great, man. This is phenomenal, man. I felt like we made some connections, some lifelong connections, just being on that couples retreat, man. So we want to talk about it a little bit. So
yeah,
what you got, Michael?
Listen, now y'all know me. Y'all know you never really know what's gonna come up out my mouth when we talk about certain things. But listen, so the couples retreat was through a men's group that Donald is a part of, right? And so they decided to have a co-ed gathering. Okay, so usually the other times that they've had gatherings, it's just been the men getting together and, you know, brainstorming and just doing men type stuff, you know. And so this time they decided, you know, well, let's do co-ed so the wives can kind of see, you know, what we're doing and what the group is about, and, you know, just bring everything together, right? So Donald is familiar, you know, with some of the people that were there. Me, myself, not so much. We did do a Zoom, which was really nice. We did have a call where the couples that were going on the retreat were on there. And so I did get to at least see faces, but I didn't know anybody. So to be honest, I was a little apprehensive. I was excited to meet new people, but I was just like, I really wonder how this is going to be. Is it going to be like Donald with the guys, and then I'm just like sitting here looking stupid, or what? So, but it was great when we came through. First of all, the trip there was really nice. We drove. We didn't fly. It was in Florida, so we drove from Georgia. So that was nice in itself, us just being able to get some time together outside of work. And when we got there, they were so warm in welcoming us. I mean, if we weren't already in awe at the beautiful home that we were going to be staying a couple of days in, to be greeted by people.
Hold on, Michael. You said home. It wasn't a home.
I'm sorry, mansion.
Yeah, come on now. Put some respect
Beautiful
on Uncaged's name.
Mansion that we were going to be spending a couple of days, you know, some days in, or the weekend in. It was just wonderful to then come through the door and just be greeted so warmly by people that we've never physically met, you know. So they know who Donald is, and those who were on the call knew I'm Donald's wife, but it was like the greeting was like we all knew each other. It was like cheers when they were like Norm, when Norm came in. It was just wonderful. It was very warm, very receptive, and that made me even more excited about what the weekend had in store.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. Shout out to you, man. I mean, you blended right in. I don't know why you act like you would just be with the ladies. I mean, you're not that type of female. You just kind of like blend in and have fun with everybody. I mean, shout out to you, man. I could take you anywhere. Well, kind of.
Well, where couldn't you take me?
Nah, because sometimes I want you to, you know, just to not be yourself. But
why?
Yeah,
wait a minute. I don't understand.
You're just the life of the party. And sometimes
Y'all ever
I
had
don't want to party.
hate on you? Why you hating? Why are you hating? That might be the reason why people like you so much.
Yeah.
Because they like me.
No doubt, man.
And vice versa. Okay, so don't do me.
Yeah, man. I guess when we walked in, I mean, I noticed, you know, I mean, it looked like a Purge rally to some degree. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Purge. So it's been to say we're the only blacks there for the most part.
Yeah.
And this sounds really bad to say this as well. Only blacks there other than the chefs. Jesus.
Well, listen, they wanted good food.
Oh, they did a phenomenal job. So
you know.
they got to have us there if they want good food. I mean,
Yes.
so.
Seasoning. Lattice. Hot sauce.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Mike, man. I'm gonna start calling him Magic Mike, man.
Magic Mike? Uh-oh.
Yeah, man. Him
I don't know about that one.
Him and my guy, Duke Nukem, man.
Oh,
Phenomenal
listen.
job, man. Phenomenal
Yes.
job. As chefs, man. Shout out to them two brothers, man. But no, it was a interesting experience, man. I mean, we didn't know how it was going to go, but we really had a really good time, man. So shout out to Zach of Uncaged.
Yes.
So if you're a man looking to be in an accountability group, as it pertains to life, business, family, all of that good stuff, Uncaged on Facebook, free group, doesn't cost you anything to join that group, but they have a VIP group as well. You should definitely join that, man. It's really cool, man. And so basically all the spouses were there, all the wives. And so it was just a really cool experience. And shout out to Kyle, man. He was doing all the videos and everything. So it was just it was a unique experience, man. Because we've done some couples retreats before, but nothing like this where
Never.
everything's being, videoed. And it's just really cool, man. It was an experience that we've never had before. So it's just phenomenal to take all that in. And I almost forgot that we were black. I mean, that we were the only blacks there. I mean, not that really matters. I know my white friends are gonna be like, "Oh, race doesn't matter." I get all of that, but still, we were the only blacks there. So I was just like, "How's this gonna go, man?" These people over here doing, man. But no, it was great, man. Everybody was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I see some of the folks on social media, but they actually go and hang out with, shout out to Dr. B, man. Dr. B and his phenomenal wife, Jody.
Yeah, Jody.
Jody's I almost cursed. Jody's great, man. So
You did curse.
but everybody's great. Everybody was great. Zach, Heather, just phenomenal people, man. Just when you get a chance to hang out with folks that you don't know, and you'd be like, man, I rock with these people, man. These people cool, man.
Yeah.
It was great, man. So it was just a whole great experience, and and it was a great experience from you too as well. For you as well, because we talked about it in the car. So it's just one of those things. We're really glad we did it. I mean, there was no reservations about doing it, but driving down here, I don't know, man.
We just didn't know what to expect. I think that's what it is. You don't know what to expect when usually when people do couples retreats, they're couples that know each other, have
But they knew each other.
No. But some of them did, and some of them like they knew each other just from the internet.
Yeah.
Not necessarily from face to face, actually seeing
Listen,
each other.
all my best friends on the internet. So at this point, these real life people, I don't know about them.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
But to say all that is basically to say that like we literally got in a car and drove 6.5 hours to be in a house full of strangers.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were able to do that, and they did it too. Some of them flew, and people made that sacrifice to be there because they felt like this was something that was needed and that they did not want to miss. And so just to know that many strangers could be in one mansion, mansion and get along so well, communicate so clearly and effectively. And it was amazing. Like it opened my eyes to looking past like where we are. Because of course you think somebody you see every day, I went to school with this person, this is my bestie, this is my person. To come to find out that you can be with people that you've only been around maybe 2-3 days, but exchange so much information and feelings that you feel like you walk away with, these are my people.
Yeah, so if someone's listening to this, it's like, what's so great? You went on a couples retreat. That's not a big deal. But no, we had these like roundtable discussions, man.
Very in-depth conversations.
Like breakout sessions, if you will, where we really went in depth. And there were questionnaires sent out before the retreat about things you want to work on in your marriage, right? So when we got to the retreat, shout out to Zach, he was coordinating everything. So he had because all the questionnaires were anonymous, so you didn't know who they came from.
Yes.
So everybody was able to talk about things and be very vulnerable and open without someone knowing you were the one that filled out that questionnaire, right? So it was pretty cool. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, my questionnaire was pretty boring. I know Zach thought about. Yeah, it was pretty boring. But we still got a lot out of it, man. It was a phenomenal experience. So during these sessions, man, they were like 2 hours, 3 hour sessions, man. People were just like getting it off their chest and kind of talking about it. A lot of women expressing certain things that they would like to see their husbands work on. And it was really cool. No one got in their feelings or anything like that. I've often kind of felt like people need permission to be vulnerable. Yeah. And so a lot of men were expressing some vulnerabilities And because one man expresses a vulnerability, it allows other men, because men don't always talk, right? You know, so especially when they're around other men. But all the men were letting it loose, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, you know, I got ED, all kind of stuff. It was just flying. I ain't gonna say who said that, but you know, but it was just things were just flying around, right? You know, just things that people were going through and dealing with, and it was just I just thought it was really cool, man. It was an experience that we've never had before. So I'm like, man, if we ever have next time we coordinate a couples retreat, that's how we need to do that, right?
Yeah.
You know, that was just done very well, man. Just having a breakout session. And that session, I think we started at 10 and ended. Of course, we broke.
It was supposed to end for lunch, but we kind of
No, we stopped for lunch.
But
No,
we went past the time.
we
for lunch,
went past the
so,
time for lunch, but we stopped for lunch. I had like an hour lunch and got right back to it.
Yeah.
And we went until dinner time. So it ended up being from, I think, like 10 to 6 or 10 to 5 or something like that. It was an all day thing, man. But it was really cool, man. So, yeah, shout out to Zach and Heather, man. Phenomenal people, man. They just put it together, something that I just never experienced. I'm like, man, I'm really going to take some notes from that because, you know, we haven't done a couples retreat that we organized in quite some time. But the way that was done, it was just done really, it was done very well. It was well thought out.
Really was. It really was. And I want to say, like, even the information that was just exchanged, not only during the sessions, but even in the break, like when we broke to have lunch or have dinner, it's like then people kind of individually can, you know, started kind of clamoring together. You know, the ladies, we got together and talked, the guys, it was a mixture, still kind of continuing the conversation. And it was really, really interesting. And even some, you know, some of the things that we talked about were very sensitive, you know, topics, you know, and I think that that was also a good thing too, because sometimes people feel like they're in stuff by themselves, or my husband and myself, we're going through these things and it's just us. Like nobody understands, nobody, you know, whatever, you know, and to be able to let that out and express whatever, you know, issues, insecurities, whatever it may be, and know that you have a sounding board, you know, of people that are empathizing or can sympathize and offer, you know, their opinion or even just encouragement. Sometimes people just need to let it out to get the encouragement. It's not necessarily for you to fix their problem, but to be heard. You know, there's strength in knowing that you are heard. And that's part of the healing process or part of working to resolve a situation. So when you know you have an army behind you, rooting for you, it just makes you want to go even harder and believe that there's, you know, light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with all of that, man. It was that type of environment. Environments matter. And so it was a very non-judgmental, if you will, because sometimes people don't, some of y'all don't tell your business because you're about somebody judging you. You know what I'm saying? So, but it wasn't that type of an environment. So it was a very open, free, willing environment. It was just great, man. Everything about it was just well done. And, you know, I learned some things too. You know, I just got to continue to evolve and grow as a man. You know, as men, we're kind of like in this box, right? Like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. But what it means to become a man is constantly changing, and we're realizing that we're not just in this box. Like we can do so much, man. And so I've challenged myself, you know, to work on some stuff, especially, you know, me and you were kind of talking at the retreat, and I know it was kind of, even when I spoke, I was just saying, you know, hey, this is what you married, right? No doubt. I mean, this is still what you married, but, you know, I can be tweaked a little bit, right? I mean, and I'm constantly being tweaked anyway, if I really want to be honest. I mean, this is not really what you married. I mean, I'm some rendition of that, I guess, but I think I'm better.
Yeah, no, you are. You are. One of the things that I want to say that I did take away from the retreat was a statement. And it was that the person that you marry at that point in time, as y'all go through certain trials and tribulations, whether it's family, you know, wise, whether it's, you know, a death of a loved one, you know, whatever, that kind of changes the person that you're with, not for the better or the worse, but mainly you have to allow that person to go through that change or that evolution. Um, and so, okay, so for instance, when we got together, you had two children. I didn't have any, right? Then once we got married, I'm changing to from single Michael to stepmom Michael, right? Then I get pregnant. We have a son. Now we have three kids. So the Michael I was when you were dating me, and even the Michael I was when you married me in 2010, was not the same Michael that you were married to once our son was born.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you weren't the same person either, because we're learning, we're evolving as our children grow, as our needs change, we have to evolve. So we would like to think that we're becoming our better selves as we go, but that doesn't mean that there may not be some bumps in the road or some things that we need to to address, right? So like me, once I had my son and, he was getting older and whatnot, I had to then I'm not Donald's mom anymore. I'm back to Michael, but I had to find Michael. So there was a period of time where I was a little needy for attention from my husband, like that approval that, yes, you're still beautiful. Yes, I still desire you, and things like that. Because what's weird in a woman's mind when she has a child, you birthed the child, but you still feel like you're in this big body. And you may not even be in that, but just psychologically, we have to get back to ourselves. So even in that, the insecurities that I had about myself when my son was, less than a year old, that's not what I have now. You ain't got to worry about that. But you had to be there for me to understand that portion, right? And I had to also understand that although I need these things from you, you have to also prioritize time, because you're still taking care of a house. You're still taking care of us. You're still providing and things like that. So communication is key with us, and you were definitely there for me every step of the way. But again, it's an evolution and it's a change, and we have to constantly adjust. And there's nothing wrong with that. Adjustment can be a good thing, especially when you're working together to fine tune things, because your life is changing. How can you stay the same person if your life is changing? There is some edit, or evolution that's occurring, whether you know it or not.
Damn. Yeah, you're right, man. All that's true, man. And I think that's what I heard in the room, especially listening to Dr. B. I mean, so
Dr. B was great.
Him and his wife are phenomenal people. I was just like, man, got to continue to just to grow and continue to be better and better and better at life. You know what I'm saying? Not even just about me being better as a husband, just get better at life, right? Just get better at every single thing. And I think that's what I got from that. Just continuously be trying to get better all the time. And one thing about me and you, like, we can be criticized. Like we're very comfortable with criticism. Anything that's gonna make us better, we're very comfortable with it. And it seems like from just being around everybody that was there, all the couples, and even some of the folks that who wives couldn't come. It was just a few guys who wives couldn't come. Just still phenomenal people. Everybody was open to criticism or things they could do better, or even receiving things that they are doing well.
Yeah.
So it was just an environment that that someone can really thrive in. And I think that was the biggest thing amongst others that we got from that. Very relaxed weekend, felt very safe.
Yeah.
Your safety is very important to me, but my safety too, man. I was like, man, listen, I've seen these Purge movies before. We only blacks in here, man.
Please believe I was making sure I knew you were at all times.
The first ones to die in this movie, man. I want to be.
Yeah, usually we are.
We first ones to die.
Why is that?
I don't know, man. So,
I'm not sure.
I'm joking,
The
man.
black people always die first.
But no, it was great, man. It was really great. It was just such a great experience.
It was.
We had a private chef cook 3 meals a day for us, man. I'm gonna call him Magic Mike from now on.
Man.
I call Duke like free game Duke Nukem, and he might get mad about it, but But these guys are just phenomenal brothers, man. And their skills in the kitchen are impeccable. So it was just a great weekend because we were able to do all the couple stuff without worrying about who's got to cook, who's got to cook and clean and do all this other kind of things. So it was set up in a way that we could just come there and have our discussions and our breakout sessions. It was just great. It was just very well done. So it's one of those things I can't wait to do it again, to be honest. And I'm glad you kind of got an idea of when I'm with the guys on the virtuals and things like that. Like, okay, these are the guys that he's talking to. Now, that was my first time like meeting like Jeff, the real estate loan. The real estate loan guy. That's my first time really meeting Jeff. Phenomenal person though. I learned how to make old fashions, so I was
just gonna say that.
Yeah,
you learned how to make an old fashioned.
Yeah. Shout out to Jeff, man. Yeah, man. So he actually did an expert call yesterday for everybody, and I can't wait to get on Amazon and order my old fashioned ingredients, man. Because man, those old fashions were delicious. No, it was just a great experience all the way around. So. We look forward to, probably putting something together in the future, with some couples where we can, like I said, it's one thing to be together and to have a couples retreat. It's another thing to get questionnaires filled out from all the couples that are going anonymously and kind of talk about those things that were in the questionnaires in a way that you don't know who said what, you know what I'm saying? And come to find out, I'm sure that a lot of folks it sounds like a lot of folks had the same kind of things they wanted to talk about. And I guess when you're talking about it with other couples, it's just more relaxing because you realize it's not just you. But somebody talked about postpartum depression, and how, sexually that's a problem, in a relationship, because of postpartum and things of this nature, you not feeling like yourself. I know that's something that we experienced, and so that kind of got touched on, and we just let a lot of women know that they're not alone. A lot of mothers know that they're not alone, and a lot of men know that they're not alone. Because,
exactly, it's not just your wife bugging out.
Yeah, man. So it's and as a woman, it's like, oh, it's not just your man that is trying to figure this thing out too, because we're trying to figure it out with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, if it affects you, it affects me. If it affects me, it affects you. And I think that a lot of couples understood that coming from the retreat. Like, hey, if my wife is going through this, if I'm going through this, my wife's going through it. If she's going through it, I'm going through it. So we're in this together. So that's why it's something that we got to talk about, man. So it was just great, man. Great communication. Nobody got upset. It was just a great weekend. We left fulfilled.
We sure did.
We was ready to go back to work. I mean, because we really felt like we really had a fulfilling weekend trip with all the other couples. Just great people, man. I don't know what more to say about it, man. It was just a phenomenal trip.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And I can understand how you say it. Like, I don't really know what more I can say. There was just so much to it, And then we even talked about business, There were business owners there, people who have been doing their business for a while, others who were just, kind of newly started, kind of getting their feet wet, maybe even trying to figure out what other endeavor, they would like to do and things like that. So even that was, amazing to just be in a room with people who are just forward thinking and, trying to just figure stuff out, and how they handle their business and sharing their tips and tricks and finances and stuff like that. So it's like, it was just, everybody was like an open book,
Sure.
And a lot of times, I don't know, I think in this world, like where everybody's kind of closed and protective and, don't look at me. I'm not, they put their blinders up.
You got the facade.
Yeah. Or you've got people who are putting on, But even at this, like people, even when we were talking about business and finances and stuff like that, like people told the truth. Hey, it's a little tight over
man.
here.
I mean, people were saying, and I respect everyone for that. Wow, hey, I don't have this. I don't have that.
Exactly.
It's a little tight right now. You know what I'm saying? I got this business and I'm doing these things, man, but the business isn't making any money right now. Hey, I respect that. I understand that. I mean, we overstand that. People think, you know, you got this business and they see you living this life, but hey, the business isn't profitable as of yet. You know what I'm saying? We're still in the investment stages of this business to where we can, you know, we're working towards profitability, but right now we're struggling. So it was great. People sharing books, you know, and things that they're reading. It was just great. Other information, and, you know how this thing works, man. It's knowing people. You know, it's important. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people have been through something that you're going through, and other people can be your shortcut.
Yeah,
right. Other people can be your shortcut. You know, their long way of doing it could be a shorter way for you to get to where you want to go, man. So I thought that was. Yeah, you talk about the business side of it. I thought that was great, man. Just hearing, Jeff talking a lot of good stuff about real estate. Zach read a lot of business principles, man. It was just, I learned something about race car driving from Russell. Daniel talking about the solars, the solar panels and tax breaks. I'm like, hold up, I got to go talk to my mom about them solar panels on our house, man. So it was just a lot of good information that I would not have gotten. You would have not have gotten had we not been in that environment. People who that are starting businesses. Russell's lady, I forget what her name is. She's stepping out on some stuff, man. It was just great, man. Just pouring into each other, man. When you're in an environment where people are pouring into you, like, hey, you can do this, man. You know, it's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
It really is.
I love to be in environments that uplift each other, and there was a lot of uplifting going on there. Shelby, shout out to Shelby, man. Yeah, it was just great, man, all the way around. Shout out to Ace and Ashley, just everybody just pouring in, man. It was just so much pouring. You know, Coop. Shout out to Coop, man. Coop. I ain't gonna call him by his first name. That's Coop, man. You know, I like Coop. You know, I just like Coop. You know, shout out to him and his wife, a very young couple. Most of the couples were probably in their 30s and 40s, but you know, they were in their 20s, man. But they were there taking in that knowledge, man. I wish I was in my 20s, man. You getting that kind of game dropped on me, man. That's real free game. You know what I'm saying? It's like, golly, man. That's right. It was just great all the way around, man.
Yeah, it really was. And I've always told Donald, ever since he got into Zach's group, Uncaged, I've told him, you know what, that it just sounds like it's just phenomenal for men to be able to have a safe space to speak and get that support and even get guidance with just personal things that may be going on. And actually, Zach's wife, Heather, she has a women's equivalent of the Uncaged that she's working on, and it's called Unleashed. Very, very nice group. We talk recipes, take pictures of the food that, you know, they cook. I'm over here just salivating looking at this food that they cook. Talk about, you know, children. Yeah, 'cause you ain't gonna cook nothing. No, I'm not gonna cook it. I'm gonna take a picture and show it to you to cook. But, you know, we talk about children, you know, talk about just being a woman and some of the challenges with that and whatnot. And so I've been enjoying myself in that group since I joined as well. So yeah, I mean, if anybody is interested, you know, hey, Uncaged and Unleashed, it's a free Facebook group, but Uncaged does have a VIP group as well. So definitely check them out on Facebook, most definitely.
Yeah, listen, this is going to conclude the episode of Couples Retreat.
Yes.
Free game, Don D, life, family, and business.
That's right. And don't forget to subscribe.
Please hit subscribe, guys.
Subscribe.
Please hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe. Hit it.
Be submissive.
Be submissive and hit subscribe.